2026. We've had Travis Head dispatching the Poms over the summer. We've had a little taste with some SAPOL and AFL footy over the last few weeks, but the real stuff is here. It's the Adelaide Footy League. All divisions kicked off over the weekend, the women's and the men's included. I'm Jack Van. We'll bring you today's coverage, and beside me is not TJ. He's having the week off, a well-earned rest in Bali. We've got the Gossinator, Jad Gossin. Jad, pleasure for you to join me today, mate.
Yeah, excited to be here, and can't wait for the local footy to be back. The real main event of the year has kicked off. Plenty of great football all over the divisions. We talk about Div 7, we talk about the Div 1 as per usual, and the women's as well. So a lot of goals kicked, a lot of fun times had, and can't wait to talk all about it.
And of course, Jad, we've got the usual segments on the show as well. We got the What Caught My Eye, Farmers Leap, Coach of the Week, Marks and Goals of the Week as well. Plenty of great awards that we're going to be announcing over the next few weeks as well. And of course, Jad,
Yes.
Great show like this with great people involved doesn't happen without the support of our great sponsors. So thank you to the RD Jones Group. We are here at the Teacher Gully Public House and Garden today filming. Massive thank you to Luke and the team for their continued support of the show, allowing us to film at their great venues around the state. And to Bailey and the team here at the Gully, thank you for your hospitalities today. Stick around, there's plenty to come on this week's edition of Between the Posts. Welcome back, footy fans. This is the BTR Excavations Division 1 Round 1 wrap. Just like that, Jad, Round 1 has been and gone. We waited all summer for it, and just like that, it's all over. But what a great round of footy it was. There's a couple of upsets in there as well, and you're joining me today to dissect it all.
Yeah, can't wait to look at how the round went, and very happy to be back and talking about footy. And yeah, some good results all around Division 1, and plenty to chat about, a lot of talking points.
Shout out to you, TJ, as well. We know you'll be back in the hot seat next weekend, mate. Hope you're enjoying your well-earned holiday over in Bali for the week, mate. Jad, we'll crack straight into the first game. It was Ross Trevor taking on Athelston at Campbelltown Memorial Oval. And Ross Trevor getting a comprehensive victory there by 47 points. Plenty of commentators' notes, thanks to Nathan and Tom, who are down at the ground. What are some of the notes that you took from the game?
Yeah, so Athelston had a 2-point lead at quarter time, but Ross Trevor 1 goal 5. So inaccurate early, but they found their kicking boots 7 goals to 2 in the second quarter. And in the third, Ruggies had plenty of the opportunities, but could only manage 1 goal 5. And yeah, they had a lot of chances at goals, a lot of good opportunities to the Ruggies that couldn't make their way back into it. And it was really one in that second quarter. Yeah,
definitely. The second quarter does tell most of the story there. Rocks finished the game the better side, running over the top of Athelston and responded to the many punches that the Raggies were throwing at them. There was a Jag Meatworks goal of the day in this game as well, so make sure you check that one out. And here's the nice little mugshot here of Reece Mooney and good mate Tommy Doyle. Plenty of optimism if you're a Raggies fan. Competitive for 4 quarters. Apart from that second quarter where there was a little bit of a lapse, but for the other 3 quarters, highly competitive. If the wins maybe don't come in their first season of Division 1, they'll definitely be there or thereabouts and challenge just about every team they come up against from here on out. So positive signs going forward for Coach Matty Knight and the rest of the playing group. Jad, who are some of the goal kickers across the day, mate?
Yeah, so looking at the multiples, Ross Trevor actually had 5 players kick two goals. Baldwin, Lanzoni, Transfer, McCormick and Wakeland. Like Wakeland, always pops up for a couple.
The Flying Finn, we love Finn Wakeland.
And for Athelston, they had a few people also kick 2 goals. Randa, Russell, Wollagorang. So a bit more on him, but he had a really good game.
And the votes for the Commentators Award Player of the Year. We're going to have an announcement coming up very, very soon with the Player of the Year voting that the commentators do every week with the 3-2-1. So starting at 1, Josh Shute from Ross Trevor, Xavier Tramford, 2 votes, and Bo Baldwin. He was best on ground for his side, moving into the midfield with the departure of James Wharton and Ryan Limmy took home the 3 votes and the Archies. Next game in round 1 was the Spockos taking on Payneham Norwood Union, led by two new coaches, actually. Gary McIntosh for Payneham Norwood Union and Michael Barker for the Spockos. And he recorded his first win as a Spockos head coach by 59 points. Jad, you're at this game, mate, commentating the game, so I'm going to hand the floor over to you.
Yeah, so it was a very unusual start to the game. A lot of rust coming into round 1 because both teams actually went goalless for the first quarter. It was a very quick quarter. to commentate because, no goals in that one. But after that, the goals started flowing in the second quarter. St. Peter's 8-2, and that's really where the game was won. They separated themselves. They showed their class around the ground, and they defended well and transitioned the ball well out from defence as well. And Payne Nord Union, they were tough all game, and they really pushed hard to try and get back in it in terms of a comprehensive, not letting it be too much of a blowout. They did very, very well in that last quarter for Payne, and a lot of good signs. And I was listening a bit to Gary McIntosh at the end of the game give his team talk while I was waiting to give the award for the best goal, the Jag Meatworks, and he was actually positive, more than you'd think, because they actually showed a lot of signs in that last quarter that they can actually be competitive against maybe some different teams. But a lot of turnover and the chemistry, the cohesion, especially in that second, third quarter, really was the difference. It was 13-4. So St. Peter's kicked 13-4 in that second and third quarter combined.
Yep.
And that's really where the game was won. And just the chemistry, the cohesion. They haven't lost too many players, St. Peter's, and when they did, they replaced them with other quality players. So you saw that on display. And Payne Nord Union, a very young side. They had a lot of first-time players in this division in the A grade. But obviously 59 points doesn't look good on paper, but the last quarter is something that they can take out and hope to build on going forward.
You speak about some of the new players the Spockos replenished with, some of the players that they've lost. They brought in two players that have played for the club before, Vincent and Russell, known as noted goal kickers. They didn't even get on the score sheet. They had 8 individual goal kickers. Charlie Allen bagged 4, Johnny Reid kicked 3. We know he loves the big sticks. Malachi Carruthers with 2, Benny Anello, Nick Michaels and Henry Nelligan all getting 2. Who are some of the better players for Payne Nord Union before we get into the votes?
Yeah, Payne Nord Union, Brophy, shout out to him, got 3 goals. He's also first time playing in this division. He looked good up forward, tall, skinny, but can get the job done and wasn't afraid to get his body on the line and took some really big marks as well. Some other players there, Maunder in defence really impressed me. Altamar, he's been there a while, and Greaves as well. Ruck forward was handy all day.
As we know, ruckmen don't grow on trees. For them to be able to keep Fraser Greaves with all the other players that they've lost is massive win for Gary McIntosh, and he's going to be influential as the season progresses as he works into his year. He's a mobile ruckman as well, so he gets around the ground really well, got good skills. For the Spockos, Jesse McKinnon, Zach Michaels in his debut, it wasn't it? The brother of Nick there, Judd. Malachi Carruthers also in the best for the Spockos, but taking home the votes for the Player of the Year award. Judd, who did you give the 3-2-1 to?
Yeah, so 3 to Henry Nelligan. He played well all game. The 2 went to Charlie Allen, 4 goals, and helped out in defence as well. He can really be very versatile. He kicks a couple every now and again, but 4 was very impressive. And the other one went to Ianello. When the game was on the line in the second quarter, he kicked 2 and he looked very dangerous. And he kicked 2 fantastic goals as well from outside 50, one of them. So, 3-2-1 goes to those 3.
Next game in round 1 was the Hawks taking on the Gullies. It was Salisbury North taking on Teacher Gully. Salisbury North getting the job done at the Hawks' Nest by 19 points. For the majority, it was a tight game. Thanks to the commentators, Mark and Isaac, who are new to our team as well. So welcome and thanks for your great commentators' notes from yesterday. The game really was tight and contested for the majority, but across quarter 2 and quarter 3 was where the game really was won and lost for Teacher Gully. They kicked 3 goals, 9 across those 2 quarters, so a bit of inaccurate goal kicking there is the main story to take out of that one. What are some other notes that you found from the lads down there yesterday? Yeah,
it was only 5 points at quarter time, and then after that is when it turned around a bit. Jordan O'Brien kicked 2 goals in that third quarter, which really separated them. A big captain's goals there make it 3 goals to 1 in that third. Teacher Gully, and the note said this, missed opportunities, set shots, turnovers that led to goals. So if they can fix that, it was only 19-point margin. That could have been the difference. And the other bad, unfortunate news, injury to PJ Carlin, ankle injury.
You never like to see this. Yeah, it was an ankle injury.
New signing for Salisbury North coming over from Broadview. He almost a stand-up player last year for Broadview. Was curious to see how he goes in a bit of a more competitive team, but hopefully it's not too bad of an injury, so we can see him out there pretty soon.
I think it's from what I heard last night, it was around the maybe 3-month mark.
Wow.
So. Yeah, not good for PJ, and he, from what I heard from down at Salisbury North, he's really impressed over the summer as well with his training and his work rate and things like that for a big guy. So hopefully we see him out there towards the end of the year as they make a late charge for finals. I have no doubt they'll be there or thereabouts. Another thing that stood out from the commentators was Salisbury North's speed in transition and on the turnover. We know how damaging they are by foot, and when you can give Anthony Hellabout some service, he's going to take full advantage, and he did just that. with 4 goals. Some of the better players for Teacher Gully were Tyler Martin, Blake Penny, Tyson Breeden, and Riley Verrill in the best players there. And the 3-2-1, who took home the 3-2-1 for the commentators?
No worries. I'll start from the 1 this time, give you a bit of suspense. Dom Costanzo with the 1, Jordan O'Brien, the big captain there with 2, and Jacob Russo with the 3 points. So some good efforts there all around.
Next up in round 1, it was Cootsie and the Cowboy. They headed down to Sacred Heart to watch Sacred Heart take on Glenunga. And it was Glenunga, a rejuvenated, almost a reinvented Glenunga, getting a really impressive W there by 41 points. Of course, Nathan Grimer back at the helm, got some players back, did lose a couple, but we know how good of a coach Nathan Grimer is and how he can galvanise a group. And when you add in an Abe Davis, a fully fit Abe Davis, you're going to be there or thereabouts. And they've started the year off with a bit of a statement as well against Sacred Heart, who have been a part of the benchmark the last few years by 41 points. What did you see across the game there from the commentators' notes, mate?
Yeah, thanks to the commentator notes, they mentioned it was a scrappy game early. The lead changed twice in the second quarter, but Glenunga just a little bit better at those 1%ers, and that really pushed them ahead. And in the third quarter, all Glenunga winning the pack and clearances as well as hunting the ball. Shock couldn't even enter their 50. That's what the notes said. So we know how Shock have lost a few players along the pre-season, but still a very comprehensive win from Glenunga. And definitely the scoreline was surprising when I was looking at it coming through last time. So yeah, Glenunga are back, question mark. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But the other one is exciting to see. Abe Davis maybe back to his best as well. And one of the notes here, we'll get into it. I'll just say it now. He got the 3. Abe Davis, they said he covered the ground well. And when I read that about Abe Davis, you know he's going to have a big year.
Yeah, certainly. Abe Davis looks like division medal Abe Davis. It's a scary proposition for the rest of the competition. It was 5 points at quarter time, 17 points at halftime, and the game was blown open by Glenunga in that third quarter. 5 goals 4 to 1 goal 6. So a little bit of inaccurate kicking there on Shock's behalf as well. But 43 points was the margin at three-quarter time. And then they were just in cruise control in the last quarter. 9 individual goal kickers for Glenunga as well, so that's a big positive. They've got some different looks down there. Michael McMahon hopefully can come back. He did his Achilles early-ish last year. Saw him at training probably a couple of months ago now, but he was out on the track, so that's a positive sign. So he can't be too far away as well. And we know the quality that he possesses. Who are some of those the multiple goal kickers there? Do you have them written down?
Yeah, so Davis got 2, Opperman, Smith, and 1 key, all 2. So yeah, they really like to share around the goal kickers, and when you do that, there's no focal point. It's hard to defend against for sure. For Shock, Gleason with 3 goals, so well done to him.
Some of the better players for the Shockers were Bradley Agnew, Charlie Hildyard, Xavier Gleason, who you just touched on was in the best players, and Clayton Simons as well. And Jack Oates took home 1 vote in the commentators' notes here. He was solid in defence for the Shockers, taking some courageous intercept marks. Who are the rest of the vote getters, and who are some of the better players for Glenunga there, Jad?
Yeah, so for Glenunga, Jordan West got the 2, and as we touched on, Abe Davis with the 3 votes. So yeah, they were some of the better players.
And the last match of round 1, the Stream team headed out to Harpers Field to watch the grand final rematch of 2025. It was Golden Grove taking on Port District. And before we get into the scores, I just need to apologise to all the Golden Grove people for mentioning the word relegation in the pre-season show. Oh boy. First word that come to me was the R word.
Oh, relegation.
Yes. I've taken that word out of my vocabulary because it's not going to happen, I don't think, for you guys this year. Loved what I saw. You'll be there or thereabouts. Again, I have no doubt. Now, I have no doubt. It was Golden Grove by 20 points, 83 plays 63. It was 11 points at quarter time, 18 at half time, 26 points at three-quarter time, and 20-point winners were Golden Grove. Jad, for me, it was a different kind of Golden Grove win. In years gone past, we've seen them bury teams, and this is going to sound silly to say, but it was almost one of the best wins that I've seen Golden Grove have, because they went on that 11-game winning streak prior to the finals where, as I said, they were burying teams, putting on a massive score, but they won in a very different way. It was hot in the kitchen all game. Their pressure was relentless, but then when they could break out into open space, they've still got that natural ball moving ability, and when you can get it into Pascoe, clean one-on-one looks, he's going to take full advantage, and it ended up with 4 goals. What are some of the things you noticed just looking from afar on this game?
Yeah, a few things I noticed. Well, first of all, a lot of people wrote off Golden Grove, and they looked like they were out there to prove a point. The other one is from a Port District perspective. They have added players, and they've have a lot of depth coming through. Just looking at their B team, they've had Passanidi and Jack and Mitch Gaffney in the B team. So there's some good depth there. They've added and not really lost too much. So in case of an injury, suspensions, they're going to be strong going forward. And yeah, a bit of a funny one when you're watching the scores roll in and you see the result coming through. The Golden Grove are probably going to win. Definitely a big upset in the grand final rematch and a different result than the grand final. I'm sure Port District will be fine. Maybe they needed a bit of a wake-up call early on in the season. They got that straight away in round one.
They've always been slow starters historically. Yeah. They had a slow start last year. They did win in round one last year, but they'll even admit they didn't play their best footy. They managed to just get over the line with a good comeback against St. Peter's, but they'll be fine. I think they had a later start to pre-season as well. Just got a fly buzzing in my ear. Yeah, there's plenty of depth there, as you mentioned. 6 new players for Golden Grove, obviously with some of the exodus of players there. All the players that come in for the debuts, they all pulled their weight. It was awesome to see. And a couple of returning greats for Port District had immediate impact. Heffernan kicked a couple of goals and Shepherd kicked 3 as well. And at times, Port District did look really potent going forward, so that's one to watch. They normally just grind teams away and get to the 70, 80 points. But I think against maybe some of the lesser teams with some of the firepower that they've added going forward, I think we should see them really bury some teams and put on some big scores to get some big percentage boosters as the year goes on. For me, the key to victory was the third quarter, the start of the third quarter. With an 18-point margin, there was that sense, and there was a feeling in the air, right on at halftime, actually, before I move forward, Golden Grove did kick a goal right on the siren, so if they didn't get a free kick or whatever, however it come about, it would have been 12 points, and you think, geez, the door's open for Port District, but the 18-point buffer just was able to cool the Jets a bit going into half time. And then they kicked the first 2 goals, Golden Grove, to lead by as much as 31. But Port District did respond and they were coming. You could feel a bit of apprehension in the air at the ground, but the Golden Grove defense was resolute and they ended up kicking 1 or 2 late on in the quarter to see the 26-point margin, and they saw the game home. Jad, I mentioned it before, Lenny Pascoe ended up with a decent bag of 4, and a couple of the Port players kicked multiple goals. Who are some of the other goal kickers in the game?
Yeah, so for Golden Grove, as you mentioned, Pascoe 4, Verity with 2, and Banks with 2, so another new player there. And for the Port District, 3 goals for Shepherd, 2 for Heffernan. Some of the better players as well for Port District, Logan Rose, Miller Carter, Liam Modistash, Gavin Shepherd, as we mentioned, with a couple goals, and Cooper Gaffney. So a couple familiar names, but also some new ones.
Some of the better players for Golden Grove. It was an even contribution across the board. Picking best players for Coach Craig Smith would have been a handful yesterday afternoon. And before I continue, first game coaching, congratulations on your first win there, Craig. Shenton in the best players, Dylan Wall, Pittman, he's always there or thereabouts, isn't he? The pit dog, as Matty Gale likes to call him. And Josh Ingram was a rock in the defense as well for Golden Grove. The votes that we gave yesterday, I gave 1 vote to Gavin Shepherd. I thought he was potent up forward and looked dangerous. Given 2 to Mabil Ajak, one of the debutants for the club yesterday for Golden Grove. Halved the ruck battle with Scotty Lysett and ended up drifting forward and kicking a goal of his own. It was very funny to watch a big, lanky, 210-centimetre ruckman. The ball fell into his lap in the goal square and he didn't know what to do with it. He almost stopped and turned around and handballed it. And then he's like, all right, I'll put it through. And then 3 votes. You can't go past Aiden Thatcher. He was just an absolute rock. Team of the Year recipient last year. So great start to the year for all those involved. Jad, let's preview next week's games. Round 2 of BTR Excavations Division 1 Adelaide Footy League. Of course, next Saturday, 25th of April.
Yep.
What day is that?
Anzac Day.
One of the best days on the footy calendar. Almost makes me want to get off the mic for a day and put the boots on because it's a great occasion, and not often that Anzac Day falls on a Saturday. So every single team and every club can participate in Anzac Day. So it's going to be a great day for all those involved. First game, we're going to speak about Glenunga taking on Golden Grove at Webb Oval. What are your thoughts about that one? Both teams getting a really impressive dub.
Yeah, that's already shaping up to be a very, very good game. You know, both teams getting wins and when they wouldn't have expected to for Golden Grove, and both have looked strong in the first round. So keen to see that result.
This game is an intriguing one here, Jad. Golden Grove historically haven't played too well at Webb Oval the last couple of years. At least more recently, last year, they got done by 50-odd points, and that sort of kick-started their 11-game win streak. I'm going to go for Glenunga in this one. How about you?
Yeah, I'm going to go Glenunga as well. Their first home game of the season. They play very well down there. They know how to use the oval, and they'll be keen for the first home win of the season.
Athelston taking on Salisbury North for the next game. First home game for Athelston as well. What are your thoughts there? These two teams would have only played each other a couple of years ago in Division 2, so they'd be very familiar with each other, I suspect.
Yeah, I like to see a new fixture in Div 1, one we haven't seen it in a while. So I'll go with Salisbury North for the victory, but I think Atherton will put up a fight. We saw that they fought hard against Ross Trevor and they didn't stop right till the end. I think Salisbury North will be too strong, but I wouldn't be shocked if it does go the other way.
I'm going to go Salisbury North as well in a tight one. I think Atherton will turn it on for their home fans and make it a close contest. Next game, we're going to speak about Payneham taking on Ross Trevor. Now, this one, it's a grudge match. It's a northeastern sort of derby rivalry there. I think me and you were there in round 1 last year, and these two teams, they don't like each other.
No, for sure. There's always a bit of niggle in that one, and the crowd's going to be big for it. They love to go around and get an occasion. And the Anzac Day aspect makes it even bigger in terms of a battle that we're going to see out there. I think Ross Trevor will be too good. Payneham, you know, as we said, they've got a very young team. They've got some good signs in that game against St. Peter's that I was at, but I think Ross Trevor will be too good.
I also think Ross Trevor will be too good. Next game, the Stream team are heading to Country Living Homes Reserve. For me, this is game of the round. Port District taking on St. Peter's. I think these two are going to be there at the very pointing end at the end of the season. It's going to give us a good preview of where both these teams are at. Jad, what are your thoughts about this one, mate?
Yeah, can't wait to see this one. And I'll be commentating in Div 7 actually for Anzac Day, so I won't be at any of the Div 1 games. But I'm keen to watch this one back because it's going to be a very, very good game. Very hard to tip this one. I'll probably, if I have to pick, I'll pick Port District just because their first home game of the season, they're going to have all their fans there with the first game after the premiership. They've got a new facility down there. They're all ready to go.
Not quite ready to go, unfortunately. It's a touchy subject for those involved at Port District.
It will be soon.
Delays, but it'll be done soon.
It'll be done soon. They're going to be keen to get a win. St. Peter's really impressed me though. I watched them live, so it's hard to not pick them. I'll go Port District based on the history in the first game after their premiership, but again, another one I wouldn't be surprised if it goes the other way. I'm
going to go with Port District as well, but I think it'll be an absolute nail-biter. Yes. Cannot wait to be down there next Saturday. Last game of round 2 we're going to speak about is Sacred Heart taking on Teacher Gully. This is an interesting one. If you had have asked me this a couple of months ago before I knew all the outs for Sacred Heart, I'd probably say Sacred Heart by how many. But we're expecting Sacred Heart to sort of fall back a little bit, and we're still not sure where Teacher Gully are. They've still got a lot of Div 1 experience from 2 years ago, straight back into Div 1 after a year in Div 2. And they were competitive yesterday against Salisbury North. So what are your thoughts about this game?
Yeah, it's hard to tip against Sacred Heart, but I will be going for Teacher Gully. I think they're going to have that grit. They're going to have that experience on their side to find a way just to get across the line. I don't know why I got a feeling it's probably going to be a low-scoring game, just the way the Teacher Gully like to play.
And Sacred Heart as well.
Sacred Heart as well, yeah, good point. So I think it's going to be a real arm wrestle. It's hard to pick this one so early on the season, and it's going to be interesting to see this result in terms of how we tip going forward, which is easy to say. I'll go Teacher Gully, but yeah, again, another 50-50 one.
I'm going to go Sacred Heart. But yeah, I like how you touched on it. It's always easier tipping forward. Captain Hindsight always strikes once the result's done. I'm going to go Sacred Heart, and I think it's going to be a low-scoring tight affair. As a reminder to all you footy fans, you can access every single Adelaide Footy League game, men's A and B grade, Div 1 through to Div 7 and all women's divisions through the Adelaide Footy TV Season Pass. You can scan the QR code on your screen now or go to the link in the description.
Now it's time for one of my favourite segments, the marks and goals of the week, brought to you by Born to Build. So this week, we're going to look at some of the best marks of round 1. You can go on the Facebook to vote. We're going to show them now, and the winner of the week gets a Bianco $100 voucher. I've got them right here, so if you want one, take a spectacular mark. Let's have a look at them.
You've seen him around town. He walks with purpose. With only a short introduction, he leaves a lasting impression. This morning, he was a regular guy in a tee. Now, he's fitted with confidence.
And now the goals. They're brought to you by Peter Shearer. They've come on board this year and they've got a fantastic prize, yet to be determined, but a fantastic prize coming your way for the best goal of the week. We're going to have a look at them now, and once again, you can vote on the Facebook. Let's check them out.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your favourite segment. It's back. It's time for What Caught Our Eye. Jad, we're going to start off in Division 7. We're going to start off in. What caught your eye in Div 7?
Yeah, so plenty of big goal kickers. I've gone with the 10 goals from Ryan Foley and a big victory there for his team.
I also came for the Goal Fest, and Trent Payne kicked 9 for Brahma in a 31-point win to kickstart their season. So well done to Trent. Division 6, what did you find?
Yeah, Division 6, I've got Elizabeth. I talked about them a lot last year covering Div 7. They continue their winning streak, of course, didn't lose a game last season, and they're back to winning the first game of the season in Div 6 by 14 points over Blackfriars.
If you were at the Houghton versus Trinity game yesterday, you were treated to a Goal Fest, and you were treated to an absolute thriller as well. Houghton getting the job done by 1 point. Scores were 106, plays 105. Division 5, I found Smosh getting a huge start to the year with a gritty away win at Fitzroy. This is a feel-good story, Jad. After only winning 1 game in the last 2 years, that's a great start to the year for them.
Yeah, for sure. Good on them. For Div 5, this is a big one. Greenacres 155-point winners over Portland, and Ryan Clark kicking 12 goals. So a massive, massive victory there for Greenacres against Portland.
Division 4, what did you find there?
Division 4, so 2 of the matches were won by 55 points. The one that caught my eye was Hectorville winning over CBC.
I was all aboard the Pulteney train coming up from Div 5 to Div 4 after they've gone out and recruited the farm, but they got a little bit of a reality check, unfortunately, for them by Jeps Cross, just showing the new kids on the block how it's done in Div 4 with a great win by 55 points. Division 3?
Division 3, so Walkerville, they were losing at three-quarter time. They went and kicked 5 goals 6 to only 2 goals 1 in the final quarter to get the victory over Lockleys by 1 point. So a massive comeback there, 5 goals to 2 in the final quarter.
For me, it was a Brody Smithless Seaton getting a strong away win versus Plimpton to kickstart their year, and they'll be there or thereabouts. Division 2?
For Div 2, 4 of the 5 games had a margin of 13 points or less. Goodwood by 1, Modbury by 4, they were the closest ones. So, yeah, some really, really close games in Div 2. And as always, I think Div 2 is always very hard to tip.
Yeah, very hard to tip that comp. And it just shows because I think a lot of people had written off Broadview. I was probably one of them. And they had a huge upset beating Henley by 7 points. And what caught your eye in Division 1?
Div 1, I was at that game, St. Peter's. It was a goalless first quarter, and they still managed to score 113 points. So plenty of firepower there for St. Peter's. You
do not miss a thing, Jad. For me in Division 1, what caught my eye was Golden Grove winning against the reigning premier in Port District. Yep. All the signs pointed to Golden Grove getting weaker, Port District getting stronger. But Golden Grove were awesome yesterday. I was there live. It was great to watch. And apologies once again for saying the word relegation in the preseason show to all the Golden Grove faithful. It was a comprehensive 20-point victory.
Welcome to one of the greatest segments, the one where we recognise the coaches and all their hard work. This week's Coach of the Week goes to Division 7, thanks to Farmers Leap, and that is Ivan Sylvie from Central United. Went out and spoke to them in the pre-season. They're doing good work up there at Central United Football Club, and a good win in round 1 means he is our Coach of the Week, and he gets the fabulous Farmers Leap prize. We'll be out there in a couple of days chatting to him and getting some insight into how the round 1 result went and giving him his prize. So thank you to the sponsor there, Farmers League, and congrats to Ivan Sylvie of Central United from my Division 7.
Hey everyone, it's time for the women's wrap. I'm Tegan Dunbar.
I'm Annalise Dunbar.
No, it's not. It's Jack and Jad. We're doing the women's wrap this week. The girls are off. I think they're at a wedding actually on the Proseccos.
Fair enough.
So we'll see them next week. But we're going to kick things straight off with Division 1, the BTR Excavations Division 1 women's wrap. And the first game was Teacher Gully taking on Goodwood. A really impressive victory here for Teacher Gully by 32 points, Jad.
Yeah, Teacher Gully, they got quite a strong women's program and a great win for them over at Pertaringa Oval. And yeah, the men's couldn't get it done, but the women's, they got the job done. And some of the goal kickers or best players, if you have them.
So Grace Gaunt, I'm sorry if I haven't said that right. She kicked 3 goals. Outstanding effort by you, Grace. And there's no Goody Saints goal kickers here, but there was only 2 of those for Goody Saints. So back to the drawing board for them next week. But a great start for Teacher Gully.
Yes.
The next game in round 1 was Happy Valley taking on Morphettville Park. And Happy Valley it was an away game for Happy Valley. So a great win for them. 38 plays 16, a great 22-point win for the women at Happy Valley. Some of the better players, Paige Corbett, Patricia Calpert, Jodie Hunt, Layla Rogers as well in there. Georgia Weatherspoon with 2 goals as well for Happy Valley. What else are you seeing from this game here, Jad?
Yeah, Morphettville, 2 goals, 4. So again, a little bit of goal kicking issues. Same with Happy Valley, actually, 5-8.
Could have been a bigger margin.
Some of the goal kickers for Morphettville, they only had 2, but they both went to Macy Young. So well done on her, and yeah, trying to get her the ball more because she knows where the big sticks are.
The third game of round 1 was an absolute cliffhanger from between 2 clubs we know have a strong women's program. It was Payneham versus Broadview. As I said, cliffhanger, 7-8 plays 8-5, a 3-point win for Broadview away from home. So that's a great start to their year. And if you're at Payneham Norwood Union, you haven't lost any admirers as well. A great effort from the girls in that one. Unfortunately, it looks like they've blown a little bit of a lead early on. They got out of the blocks really well, but they'll be there or thereabouts as the season progresses, Jad.
Yeah, goal kicking again, 7-8 Payneham in a close match. One of them goes through and it would have been a different result, but good effort all around and a good game of football. Some of the players there for Payneham, some of their better ones, Abby Clive, Taylor Hand, Sophie Palmer, Gibson and Sarah Kennedy. And yeah, for Broadview, Hardy Birkin, Abby Player, Nikki Cullen, Jasmine Dallamore and Daphne Albanese. And Abby Player, I heard she's a good player.
The second quarter, you could argue, was where Payneham thought they might have won the game. Yep. They kicked 2 goals, 3 to only 1 goal for Broadview. They led by 22 points at half time and then led by 4 at 3/4 time. So the Broadview charge was well and truly on. and they ended up getting the job done. They kicked 3 goals to 2 in the last quarter to win by that 3 points. For Broadview, Abby Player, you said she's a great player. She kicked 4 goals, outstanding effort by Abby. And for Payneham Union, the only multiple goal kicker was Abby Clive with 3 goals. So a great game to start off round 1. If you were there, it would have been very entertaining. Last game of round 1 in the Division 1 women's program. Henley, comprehensive victory, outstanding start to the season for them. Back to the drawing board for Anglevale, unfortunately. 59-point winners were Henley at Shark Park. 11-12, so that's a mammoth score. 78 plays 19. Who are some of the better players for both of the teams there, Judd?
Yeah, some of the better players, Chanel Regari, Hayley Conlon and Eliza Cooper. And some of the goal kickers, Lucy Farmer with 3 goals, Eliza Cooper with 2, and Ellie Farrens with 2 as well. So yes, a big score there for Henley. We know they have a really good women's program and they started off the season on fire. 7
individual goal kickers as well for Henley, so that's an outstanding effort from the girls there. They just fell short of making the grand final last year, so seems like they're out for redemption, and that's a great start to the season for the girls down at Henley.
Get a quick and easy low-rate car loan from Police Credit Union today.
For the rest of the women's divisions in this wrap, we're just going to do a quick what caught our eye across the other 5 divisions. I'm going to start off with Eastern Park, the girls getting a great win away from home. 50-point winners they were, and a shout out to Ava Marshall kicking a great goal, and a happy birthday, a happy 18th birthday as well. I hope your head's not as sore as mine this morning.
Another one there quickly in that match, I noticed it was only 10-point lead at 3/4 time, so 6 goals to 1 in the final quarter to smash them by 50 in the end. So well done on East Park. And for me in that division too, Golden Grove, their first win in a while. I went back in the history books, their first win since round 12, 2024, which was July in 2024. So congrats to all the girls at Golden Grove. They got the victory over Port District. So congrats to everyone at Golden Grove. It's great to get a win after so long.
In the 9 News Women's Division 3, for what caught our eye, I've found Lockleys had an outstanding win away to Scotch. And Isabel Spooner kicked 3 goals, so great work, Isabel.
Good effort for them. For me, I found Westminster 71-point winners over Flinders Park, so a massive victory in round 1 for Westminster and a high-scoring game for them. So congrats to Westminster.
In the Women's Division 4, for what caught our eye, I found that Pulteney had an amazing round 1 win, 8-7-55, so a big score there, defeating Seaton by 42 points.
Yeah, and for me, I found Salisbury North a massive 90-point winner. And not just that, Chloe Datson, 7 goals in 1 match. So very, very good effort there for Chloe. Congrats, and definitely one to watch in terms of the top goal scorer for Division 4.
In Women's Division 5, for what caught our eye, what caught your eye?
Yeah, it was a 1-point game, so another thriller down there in Division 5. North Haven, 1-point winners over Edwards Town. So a good game of footy, only winning by 1 goal. So both teams scoring 4 as well. So only winning by 1 point. So yeah, a nail biter.
For me, it was St. Peter's. They were firing on all cylinders. They put on a massive score, and their defense was also outstanding. They held Kilburn scoreless. 88 plays 0, 13-10 was the score there. So plenty of scoring shots, and Bella Carrick took full advantage. She kicked 5 goals. Outstanding work, Bella and the St. Peter's girls. And the last division we're going to be covering in this Women's What Caught Our Eye, the Police Credit Union Women's Division 6. Judd, what caught your eye?
Yeah, West Corridor, a massive 62-point winner over Smithfield. And Suzanne Mountstephan, 6 goals. So another handful of goals there, and a great effort from Suzanne and the whole team there at West Corridor, winning both the men's and the women's, and a big day out.
Plenty of big goal kickers across the women's comp we've seen so far. What caught my eye was Lockleys and Ingle Farm played out in an exciting draw. 41 apiece it was, 6 goals apiece, and there was plenty of multiple goal kickers in that one as well. So unfortunately, there couldn't be a winner on the day, but to both teams, outstanding job, and best of luck for the rest of the year. Next up on Between the Posts, we've got the Div 7 report. So we have none other than our Div 7 expert, Jad Gosson, in the building. Jad, round 1 is done and dusted. Excited to be back.
Yes, I can't wait to chat about Div 7 once again. Actually, went to gather around a few weeks ago. Someone recognised me as the Div 7 expert.
Oh, there you go.
No lie, that actually happened.
How
so shout out
good.
to you. I'm sure you're watching it. I didn't get his name, but that was a good moment. We'll just run through a little bit about each team in Div 7 and keen to analyse it throughout the year.
Going to get your thoughts on this first game, mate. It was Hackham taking on Century United. Century United having to make the long venture down to the south of the city. Scores were 9-7-61, plays 11-14-80. So Century United, they could be forgiven for maybe starting off slow or being a bit upset, or maybe some players leaving after they didn't go up to Div 6. We know a little bit about that.
Yep.
They had to stay in Div 7. So this is positive signs, and they got a great win.
Yeah, exactly. They made the grand final. They couldn't get promoted, Central United, because of the potential merger there with Mawson Lakes. Mawson Lakes. Not Mawson Lakes, was it? Yeah, Mawson Lakes. And because of that, they were just had to stay down. But yeah, they did well. I think Hackham won't be too bad this year. I actually rate them quite a bit. So a great win there for Central United, and good start as well after a goalless first quarter, and they managed to find the victory. In Hackham, I think Central United will be a good team. They only lost by 19. And shout out to Hackham. I'm going there next week for the Anzac Day match, so I'll be commentating that. And their president down there, their director of football president, I believe he does both, I might be wrong, but one of the guys down there, they set up a scaffolding for the cameraman, and he got a sponsorship for scaffolding for our cameraman for each game. He organised that in 2 days. So big shout out to the Hackham Football Club. They've really helped us this year with their filming, and I can't wait to get down there for an epic Anzac Day match, so watch that one if you can.
Next game in round 1 saw West Croydon take on Smithfield. Of course, West Croydon coming down from Div 6 after a challenging year, to say the least, for West Croydon. They responded emphatically with a 93-point win. They put on a whopping 143 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, West Croydon, a massive one there. Just shout out Ryan Foley, 10 goals for West Croydon. So plenty of goals happening at local footy in terms of the lower divisions. You sometimes see more goals, and it's very exciting to watch. West Croydon, they're quite confident going into the season, just with some of their new players. They've got a good vibe around the club. They've worked very hard down there to kind of switch up the culture. They're very family focused this season. Great start for them.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear, Jad. Thank you to Craig Blake and the rest of the team at Hackham for supporting us and the filming and stuff that we're going to do this week for you guys on Anzac Day. It's much appreciated. We're going to go into the next game. Brahma Lodge taking on Flinders Uni, and Brahma Lodge, they would probably argue that they were close, or very close, to playing in the grand final last year. Just missed out in a prelim. They started the year off very well with a 31-point victory and getting 100 points on the board. It's always a good sign. Yeah,
for sure. 31 points victory, as you said. 8 goals to 2 in that second quarter really separated that match, and that's where the victory occurred. And a good start to the season. You expect them to be up there again. But Flinders Uni, I think they will be up there again as well. So a good win for them. 9 goals to Payne as well, for Trent Payne for Brahma Lodge. A great effort there. Some other goal kickers. Koff got 4. As for Flinders Uni, Warlord 4 and Andrews 3. Quickly, just to touch on Flinders Uni, after conceding 8 in the second quarter, they fought back well, 5 goals to 3 in the third. And about 15 new players for Adelaide Uni. I went down and spoke to them. They've got about 15 players, and a lot of them are from the uni, which is very unusual. They said they actually don't get that many players coming down the hill, as they called it, because the uni is above where they train. They don't get too many players coming down the hill and actually playing for the club, but they found some. They found a guy, I can't remember his name, I should. He's a ruckman anyway, shout out to him. He's hardly ever played footy, and they said he's a bit of a unicorn. He's so tall, he comes and he's actually started very well for Flinders. Yeah, very nice bunch down there when I went and chatted to them, and keen to see how they go. Awesome.
Ruckman don't grow on trees, so that's an absolute gift for Flinders Uni. The last game of the round was Adelaide Lutheran. They were one of the other teams that come down from Division 6 there, Jad. And they are looking to go straight back up to Div 6 with an 87-point victory over Mitchell Park, putting on 149 in the process. Yeah, for sure. Huge score there. 87 point the winners. Rankin, 5 goals. Williams, 5. McShane, 4. Wilson, 3. So they shared the load a lot around the ground. 6 goals to 1 in both the second and the fourth quarter. So they took the third quarter off. No, I'm joking. But they found a way just to come through and, kick 6 goals to 1 twice.
Another one that caught my eye in that game was Sean He, new signing from Division 5 Eastern Park.
My man. Played
Yeah.
footy with him, won an
Oh, there
18s
you go.
flag with Sean. Absolute legend and a gun footy player too.
Didn't know that. So yeah, new signing Adelaide Lutheran. I think he kicked a goal or two, but he's another one to look out for Adelaide Lutheran going forward. They look very, very strong and a bit of a mystery. They don't post too much about their new signing. So when I saw his name on the team sheet, I was excited. As for Mitchell Park, I think it will be a bit of a tough year for them, but they did well to. I was going to say they would want to defend better because to concede 6 goals in 2 different quarters, if they want to try and win some games, they want to fix it up. But against Adelaide Lutheran, they're a good team, so expect them to be better when they first people maybe a little bit less of a little bit similar level to them going forward.
Jad, as always, mate, comprehensive in your Division 7 wrap. Is there anything that you want to touch on just before we finish up?
No,
Division 7?
I just wanted to say that thanks for all the clubs for accommodating me. I went down and interviewed most of them. They were all very nice to meet the coaches, the players, the captains. I spoke to the women's team at Smithfield too. They were great. They were a bit nervous to be on camera, but once the interview started going, they were very nice to chat to. So shout out to them, Crystal and Tamika. I remember their names. Shout out to you if you're watching. But yeah, they've got a good program down there and they're building their women's team at Smithfield. And I'll be commentating Div 7 next week, so keen for that.
You will. Keep your eyes peeled for that. Jad, we'll see you in about 6 or 7 weeks.
Yes. Sure.
Oh, terrible. Very bad by me. As always, mate, thanks for jumping in for the Division 7 wrap. We'll see you very soon. Footy fans, stick around. Plenty more to come on Between the Posts. Jad, I'm sad. Round 1's been and gone.
Yes.
Round 1 show of Between the Posts has been and gone, just like that. But we had a great show this morning at the Teacher Gully Public House and Garden. Thank you for all your insights and for jumping in today. Shout out to you, TJ. Hope you're enjoying life over in Bali, sipping a couple of mojitos and really enjoying life. We'll see you next week, TJ. Can't wait for you to join me. Who do we need to thank before we get off today, Jad?
Yeah, thanks to all our sponsors. We couldn't do without you guys. Artie Jones and the group there for hosting us. Luke and the team have been always very helpful and very accommodating to us to film our show on the Sunday mornings. And of course, Dartfish and Filming Footy, all the live streams, thanks to them, and all this production, thanks to them as well.
And we have one last little offer for you as well, thanks to Jimmy Parkinson from PAC and his little business there, Ergo Pumps. If you've got a flat basketball, if you've got a flat bike tire or a football, if anything's flat, you can pump it up with an Ergo pump. So make sure you get yourself one, 33% off sale from the team at Ergo. And that's a wrap on Between the Posts for round 1. Stick around on the Filming Footy and Adelaide Footy League socials. There's plenty of content coming your way. And until then, we'll see you next week on Between the Posts.